This year, 2024, marks the 75th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China. Today, I am going to talk with foreign scholars to ponder the significance of the founding of the new China and its impact on the world at large. We want to know their thoughts about why China can finish such a turnaround to become a prosperous and influential country in the world in the past 75 years. What impressed you the most about China's development in recent decades?
China's development, I got a number of different things. One of them is poverty still exists, but absolute poverty was eradicated in China. Extraordinarily impressed with that. Number two, I've traveled all around China, and I've gone to do lectures, I've gone to perform, and I love the high-speed trains. You can get almost anywhere much faster than you could have when I first came. Significant developments which opened up a lot of places and helped to unify China geographically, which unifies China economically. Finally, I'm a university teacher, right? I've lectured at almost, I don't know, somewhere 75 or 80 different universities all over the country. And frequently, there's a campus, and there's a second campus, and a third campus for the same universities, which on the one hand expands the universities themselves, but it also means two other things. It means a lot more students are able to get a university education because of that. And if we look at a lot of the advancements of China in technology or business or science or other things, a lot of it has to do with the fact that the opportunities for advanced education has grown.
Do you believe the leadership of the Communist Party of China, CPC, has delivered good results for China's development, and how so?
I think on the one hand there is the leadership, and on the other hand there's the followership. For the most part, there is great confidence. A few years back, I had a student who went to the United States to study for her junior year, and she came back, and I was talking to her about her experience in the U.S. And she said, you know, when I was growing up, I learned to love China because it's my mother country. She said, but while I was gone, I learned to love China because of what China has provided me with, what China has given me. And I think that's pretty much the case for a lot of people.
You have traveled to 31 provincial level places in China, including provinces, autonomous regions, and municipalities, and based on your observations, how do you understand Chinese modernization?
Before I came to Beijing, I was living in Jiangsu province, the city of Huai'an, and I left there in 2007, but I went back in a couple of times. First time was 2011, and what happened was I flew on an airplane, whereas the first time I had to come on an overnight bus for 14 hours. And I got to fly in. The airport didn't exist there before. So you see, again, better roads, better transportation, and one of the things that I often comment on at the end of the year when we have university graduations. When I first arrived in China, graduations were important, but you didn't usually see family members. Why? Because it cost money, and transportation was not as convenient. And now, right, the graduation ceremonies are much bigger because you got aunts and uncles and parents and grandparents and siblings who are coming. Why? Because they can travel much faster and they have more money to be able to take the time to be able to come and celebrate this event with their offspring.
How has China's development model improved the world? What are your expectations for China's development?
China shows that alternative ways are possible, that every country doesn't need to develop the same way. They don't need to develop like the United States, they don't need to develop like China, but the fact is China said, we've shown there are other ways. On the one hand, it was China, the Chinese government, the Communist Party of China and the people of China. And on the other hand, it was the friends who helped. And China's in a different position now. And now China's in the position to be able to help, because there are other countries that are still suffering. And I think with the focus on not just China developing itself or prioritizing itself, but helping other countries to do what they need to do as defined by them, that it's not only good for China, it's good for the world. And I wish more countries would recognize that. Well, the Chinese people took a stand, said we will be free. They took control of this ancient land and declared the PRC. And led by the CPC, they marched along their way. For 3/4 of a century, and are marching still today. 75 years of progress, moving forward every day, building for the future, going all the way. Throughout the many decades, China's made so many friends, with its win-win goal for everyone that the future does pretend. Then led by the CPC, they marched along their way. For 3/4 of a century,